We're going to, in this video, solve an equation reducible to linear. So what does it mean to have an equation that's reducible to linear? It means that the equation that you start with, if you do a little bit of algebra to it, it turns into a linear equation, which you then know how to solve. So let's take a look at this example here. We want to solve for y. Now this looks a little crazy, partially because there's like a y minus 2 in the denominator, so it's like a little bit complicated looking. Now anytime you see an equation like this that has fractions within it, you can actually do this thing called clear the fractions. And so how do you clear the fractions? What you do is whatever you see in the denominator, so in this case we have y minus 2 here and y minus 2 over here, you're going to multiply both sides of the equation by that. So I'm going to multiply the left-hand side of this equation by y minus 2, and I'm going to multiply the right-hand side of the equation by y minus 2. Why would we do this? Because what happens is, if we do it, we get the things in the denominator to cancel away. So notice that on the right, we will end up with 9. The y minus 2's cancel. And then on the left, we have to distribute the y minus 2 to both terms. And if we do that, we end up getting y minus 2 times 3 over y minus 2 plus y minus 2 times 4. And I'm going to do something here. I'm going to put a parentheses around these y minus 2's. And the reason is because I want to emphasize the fact that I'm doing this whole y minus 2 times 4 and this whole y minus 2 times this fraction. Now, on the left, the y minus 2 here will cancel with this y minus 2, which is great. And then on the right, I want to do this entire y minus 2 times 4, which means that we should distribute the 4 to both of these. Now this right here is exactly why I put the parentheses around the y minus 2, because if you didn't do that, you might accidentally only distribute the 4 to the 2, when really it needs to go to both of these. Okay, so this turns into 4y minus 8. Okay, now this trick, this multiplication trick, where whatever you see in the denominator, you multiply both sides of the equation by it, it gives you an equation that doesn't have any fractions anymore. So the idea is that it gets rid of the fractions that you had before. And it actually turns your equation into a linear equation, which is a type of equation that you all know how to solve. So how do we solve this? Well, notice that we can combine the 3 and the 8 to get 4y minus 5, since 3 minus 8 is negative 5 equals 9. And then for solving a linear equation, we want to isolate the term with a variable in it and then get any constant stuff on the other side. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides of this to get 4y by itself on the left equals 9 plus 5, which is 14. Okay, now from here, we want to get the y all by itself, and so we can do that by dividing by 4. But what we do to one side, we have to do to both sides. So I'm going to divide by 4 on the left, but I'm also going to divide by 4 on the right. So you have to do it on both sides. This is nice because if you do it, these two 4's cancel and you get y is equal to 14 over 4, which if simplified, or when simplified, it becomes 7 over 2. That's because if you divide 14 by 2, you get 7, and if you divide 4 by 2, you get 2. So I'm like doing division by 2 on the top and bottom. And this right here is our final answer. So what does it mean to be an answer? It means that if we take that number, 7 over 2, and we plug it into the very original equation that we started with, so we plug it in for this y and simplify both sides, we're going to get both sides are equal to each other.